Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where everything you're about to hear and see has been done in one take. I'm your host, the One Take Man. As you might have been able to guess from the title of this video, the Witcher kick I've been on hasn't really subsided yet. So I thought I'd indulge it just a little bit more with a discussion on how I would handle the Witcher seasons 2 and onwards if it were up to me to, run the show on behalf of Netflix. This video and everything I say in it is not in any way based on my review of the second season of The Witcher, which I have already reviewed right over there. It is in fact based on an earlier video I've made, which is where I look into how I would take over the first part of the Netflix Witcher adaptation, as in how I would run the first season of the show. The video on that is also available right over there. I suggest you look at that first before you go any further with this one, because unless you've seen that already, because the way I build my episodes in this video is based on how I described that I would build the episodes in that video. So if you have any questions on that one video has got you covered. Anyway, let's get to the actual meat of this video. The easy assumption to make when it comes to creating the second season would be that you just have to adapt the second book of the series, which also happens to be the second short story collection. But what I would do instead is go right at the end of the series and adapt the last book, Season of Storms, as the second season of the Netflix show. Why? Well, two reasons. First of all, Season of Storms actually takes place between two of the short stories that are presented in the first collection, upon which the first season is based. So placing that particular book as the second season makes more sense than adapting it all the way last. You could arguably cut it all together, but I don't want to, because two, I think the way I've set up the rest of the plot will work better if I adapt this book into it. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that for the second season I have two plot lines in my head. The main plot line will follow Geralt and his misadventures throughout the book. And the secondary plot line will follow Yennefer and the rest of the mages as they try to figure out what kind of threat Nilfgaard could pose towards them and towards the northern kingdoms. That means they have to figure out, well, what can Nilfgaard do? How can they counter Nilfgaard's actions? What kind of counters could Nilfgaard employ against them, etc. The climax of this secondary plotline, and perhaps of the season as a whole, should be the Battle of Sodden Hill. First of all, because it would be amazing, a spectacle for the eyes, and second of all, because it will add a little bit of intrigue for the series moving forward. I'll say that much. You might have noticed that there is no Ciri at all in this season, but I do plan on making up for it in the next season, the third one. The third season will directly adapt the second short story collection, which is called Sword of Destiny. The first episode will adapt the titular short story, whereas in the books it's actually among the last short stories. But I want to put it right at the beginning because, for one, I think it will be a more interesting story, and it will allow me to build a little bit on what happened in the second season, establish a little bit more connection between the larger brewing war storyline and Geralt's personal storyline, and two, because this episode features this short story features the return of Siri, and I want Siri to return, as early as possible in the third season. And also, this short story is probably the best one to adapt because it will establish that Geralt and Ciri are starting to form their bond, and that bond ends up carrying these characters throughout the entire rest of the series, or at least that is the plan. The second episode of the third season will be a completely original episode, and it will be split across two halves. The first half will show Ciri at her home, the royal palace of Sintra, as she starts growing and blossoming into her role as a young princess. I.e., we're going to see the lion cub of Sintra as she starts bearing her fangs. What does that mean? Well, it could mean that she is visited by suitors, it could mean that she is attending balls, or it could mean that she could be doing whatever the hell she feels like. The important thing about this half of the episode is that it needs to establish what Ciri's normal looks like, and also what her attitude towards her normal actually is. The second half of the episode will feature her grandmother, Queen Calanthe, and Calanthe's husband and Ciri's step-grandfather, Iced, getting ready to wage a defensive battle against Nilfgaard. The final shot or final sequence of the episode will show Calanthe and Iced leading their army against a potentially larger Nilfgaardian invasion force, which will be stationed on the other side of the battlefield. That is where the episode will end. But you will get to see the battle soon enough, just a little bit later. The next 4 episodes will adapt various short stories in the collection, as per the template established in my video on season 1. Sans framing device, because this book doesn't have a framing device, nor will this season really need one if the audience already went through 2 seasons of this. If the audience already went through 2 seasons of this. Anyway, moving on, we arrive at the second to last episode. The first half of which will show the actual battle that Calanthe and Ice were preparing for in the second half of the second episode. I don't want to go into any details on what kind of military maneuvers I expect to see, because I'm not really expecting any. The important thing I want to see is the result. The result will be a narrow Cintran victory, but at a heavy cost, because Queen Calanthe herself will not only be gravely wounded, but also widowed. She will be then Calanthe gets taken back to the palace to receive some treatment from her wound. She also gets visited by Ciri, and Calanthe decides this is a good opportunity to give her one last piece of advice, just in case she doesn't make it. After she gives Ciri this advice, she doesn't die, not yet anyway, but instead Nilfgaardian forces will attack the capital city of Sintra, which confusingly is also called Sintra, and holy shit, it's dark outside. Anyway, so they'll invade, ransack, that kind of warfare stuff, and attack the actual palace as well. Ciri will spend this part of the book running and hiding, doing her best to avoid getting captured or killed, only for her to, as book readers know, get captured by a knight with a winged helmet. Sorry about that. While she will be captured by said knight won't be able to hold on to her. In the commotion of the capital city getting ransacked, something will fall on him, or something else will cause him to lose his grip on her, and Siri will just run away from the city. The next episode, the season 3 finale, will quite appropriately adapt the last short story in the collection, and it will also mark the reunion between Geralt and Ciri at the farm Ciri ran off to. Important here, we don't really need to show her running off to the farm or arriving at the farm. And the audience will have seen her running away from the battle, and then in this next episode she is at the farm. I think they can put two and two together. You could do that, but if you do, it kind of just counts as padding for time, and I'd rather the show not do that. And yeah, that is how I would adapt this part of the Witcher franchise. As for the actual saga itself, i.e. in the interconnected books that chronologically come after this, well, I say just take that template and run with it. Parse out the books in 8 or as many episodes as are necessary to really convey everything that happens, and fill out any details or any parts that might be important given the things that you've established in the previous seasons. And yeah, there you go. You have interesting and exciting fantasy television ready for the mass market. This setup should also allow any potential showrunners to avoid or sidestep the storytelling issues that the book series had, while also expanding on not necessarily expanding on the stories themselves in ways that this new medium allows. And yeah, that was overall my approach to how I would have adapted The Witcher for the small screen. I very much hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please leave a like, and maybe share this video wherever you think other people will like it as well. If you have anything you'd like to add to what I said in the video, the comment section awaits your input. And if you want to see when my next videos get released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell, or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. Until next time, I have been the One Take Man.